Hey guys and gals, another Age of Empires 4 video coming at you. I realized that many of you may not know Age of Empires 4 all that well. Some of you still followed me for Warcraft 3, maybe still follow me for Warcraft 3, whereas others may have just found me for Age of Empires 4 in this YouTube channel. And others, they may have been watching some Age of Empires 4, but not everything is immediately apparent to them. So let me just give a short intro about what you're going to be seeing here. I'm playing a competitive multiplayer game here of French, and I'm going to be playing against someone. And I'm going to be aging up to tier 2 or H2 with a school of cavalry. This is the standard building to go to feudal age with. It basically functions as a stable, but things produce a little faster from that and any stable you will make in the future. So you can get royal cavalry out quite early. Normally, cavalry like knights and lancers are only available in H3, but the French have access to them in H2. Every aged unit, be it men-at-arms, spearmen, archers, or cavalry, have their respective weaker levels and stronger levels, but they're not always immediately available. When they level up to a higher form, that costs you an upgrade, like for instance, veterancy and then eventually elite. And when you go from Dark Ages to feudal, it's called hardened. This costs some resources, and that is the downside of the Royal Cavalry. When you eventually get to H3, the Castle Age, you would still need to upgrade them, whereas factions that gain access to their knights in H3 for the first time do not need to spend that upgrade. But it's a really big advantage to have them early on. It gives you mobility and a way to harass enemy villagers. I'm going to be doing that, even though I'm also going to get very early stone mining from the mining camp next to the stone outcropping. And then I'm going to use that money to make a fast expansion. One of the most asked questions that I get is, why would you make a quick second town center? Well, that's because you start with 6 villagers, and the ideal amount that we believe is the ideal amount right now is 120 villagers. As a Warcraft 3 player, it blows your mind, because we go to 12 to 15 workers in Warcraft 3. In StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, you'll go to 70 to 90 workers the most. And here it's 120 with a cap of 200. It seems crazy, but you need those resources to get some of the late game units. Well, in this game, I'm opening with Royal Cavalry Rush. Counters in Age of Empires 4 are rock, paper, scissors. And cavalry beat archers, archers beat spearmen, and spearmen can beat cavalry. And there's a special technique to do so. You can ask me about that in the comments. So you open with cavalry, you are baiting spearmen. And that's why the next unit you make is archers. Therefore, if you open with archers, you should expect horses and follow up with spearmen. And if you open spearmen, you should expect archers and follow up with horsemen. That's why usually you have 2 unit types. And then you try to out-micro and make your counter fight theirs. This is a very fun part of every game of Age of Empires 4. And you'll constantly try to get things to go better for you. I'm getting the quick second TC while trying to keep up pressure. Let's see if he can hold. Hope you guys enjoy this game of French. Enjoy. We're against the Holy Roman Empire on a rugged mountainous map. We're playing as the French. It's 1-on-1. Hey ho, let's go. I'm going to go for a fast H2 and a fast expansion. We're going to go for the 8-2-2-2-2 opening. Just rounding up the sheep that are here in the back of the base. We get to see where all the marketplaces are actually. There's also a really cute berry bush to the back of the base here. Gonna be making a house in between the gold route in here for maximum walking efficiency. 8 on gold. Sheep just came here in time. My second town center could actually be really near because of the deer, or I could have that be a mill location as well. I do like expanding towards an opponent.
Si. Exploro. Si. Escolto. Laburo. Ensala.
2 on lumber now. We found a sacred site.
Escolto. Ensala.
When is ranked? I don't know.
Cavallo.
Need to bring more sheep home? Actually, I don't need to.
Escolto.
I don't actually need to bring sheep home because deer are so nearby.
Si. Parade. Escolto.
But I'm gonna do it anyway. Somehow it feels more done.
Exploro.
This is actually a good place for a TC. There's many interesting TC locations.
Laburo.
Exploro. Cavallo. Escarte. Bandes.
I could also build a second TC near this gold. Maybe that's good.
Vado. Vado. Si.
But you want to have something that you can spam villagers towards, and it's not necessarily always the gold.
Ensala. Exploro. Colones. Ensala. Si. Escolto. Parade. Oui.
Parad somes. Che. Capio. Ite colones. Escolto. Edifico.
Bandes.
Colones.
Exploro. Vado.
Okay, we found him.
Ubi vado.
Ensala. Escolto. Ayuda! Bandes. Parade. Si.
Let's get more on gold, so we can afford some cavalry.
Cavallo. Bandes.
Colones parats.
Ensala.
Che. Seco. Bene. Mason.
Parade. Che? Ensala. Vado. Non! Ensala.
Need another house.
Wood. Movo. Laburo. Parade. Escolto. Exploro.
3 on gold is good.
Bandes.
Me.
Si.
Here's his bush, berry bush.
Escolte. Bandes. Si.
Colones perant.
Cavallo. Bene. Exploro.
Pop cap is reached, but it's not a concern.
Bandes.
More on wood required.
Parade.
Escoltes colones.
Exploro. Carte. Ensala. Parade.
Barats. Movans.
Exploro.
Found some relics here and there. Here's a big gold.
Ensala.
Escoltes colones. Mas
Bandes. Ensala.
Very big mountain range here separating
un assunto.
some areas.
Ferro.
Parade.
Colones. Escolto.
Exploro.
Colones perant.
Parade. Vado. Bandes. Vado. Ensala.
Ubi.
Ubi vado. Sperambulo. Capere.
Bandes. Si.
More sheep.
Angulo. Caval parad. Quedlandes.
Si somes. Labur sperans.
Cursor obéiance.
Escolte bene. Si, cavo. Movamos, valetu.
Cursor obéiance. Mandemans colones. Sequies colones. Cose sera masconata. Quedlandes. Mandes quid. Oye, oye. Si, quid me movo. Io ma sono la cosa. Caval parad.
Baratus. Si, comprendo.
Si. Caval.
Obeio.
Quedlandes. Cum grand course. Caval parad. Colones parate France.
Quid labo. Inhérence.
Escolte bene.
Sì.
Si sommes. Con...
Tutto di...
Movamos, vale tous. Si comprendo.
Espero tu mandamento. Qu'espérance gloria.
Cursor obéian. Cum grand course.
Obeyo.
One villager. Kick W.
Barracks pour la boucle. Merci, boys. Point d'ordre. Attention. Equites sunt para...
Nice vision here too.
Espero tu mandamento.
Toutes audite.
Edge labour, barat, pour venir. Barate, equites. Equites atten cavalamus, equites. Si sommes, sito.
Me plect.
Come sono la cose? Colones, in avant, colones. Vado labour. En linea, equites, come mondes. Cito, equites. En linea, equites. Equites attendentisi.
Parate pour venir.
Ascolte bene.
La bourse pe...
Me. En linea, equites. Cavarabus, equites. Esperado quitost. Caballo. Parate, move, equites.
Si sommes.
Equites sunt equites quite.
Hey, this is a really big gap. Is there a path in between?
Labour spérance. Colones rigido, si. Cos'è sarà massonata? Equites atten orme mondes. Parate.
There is.
Chaval parade.
Still pikeman from him. He has a barracks, Mijnwerk Palace.
On the squad. Me plect. Equites attendent ici. Vassals in avant. Vassals in avant. En linea, equites. Si sommes. Quid labour? Si, bene. Equites sunt pa...
You guys can hear my dog dreaming.
Qued mandes.
Equites at equites in avant.
Wait, was there pikeman on the way to me?
Momentesi, artière. Equites sunt paratos.
I thought there was some fights in the center.
En linea... In avant, demande. Sarat? Obedio.
I don't know.
Quid. Me.
Parate, artières.
La bourse pe France.
Que mandes?
Mandes quid.
Momentes intendo. Equit simonier. Preparate, artières. Parat, obedio. In aiuto. Ambula. Parate, artières. Deuse. Nintendo.
Nintendo!
Preparate, artières. Vade, artières. Parate, bene, bene. Arco, parate. Preparate, artières. Equites, quite. Sagita in arquet, me. Parat.
Nice charge.
En linea, equita. Momentesi, artières. Come monte. Move, equites. Si sommes. Colones. Equites at... Preparate, artières. Move, equites. Ok. Parate, artières. En linea, equites, quite. In avant, artières. Parat. Parat. Move, equites. Momentesi, artières. Audience. Artières. In avant. Parate, ordine. Equites sunt parato. Sibolier. À la tous des... Vade, artières. Ambula. Parate. Secund mandement. In avant, artières. Equites sunt parato. Quid labour? Vado labura. Parade! En linea equites! Ove turbe! En linea equites!
Ah.
Si. En linea equites! Si, comprendo! Equites asals in avanti. Ordine tenet! Equites sunt paratos.
Parats pour... Campbell. Vado laburar. Condesqued.
Equites sunt paratos! Te. En linea. Cavalamus equites.
Qued à bout. Parats pour venir.
Moment d'ici, arquer! Argen!
Eccelimam de monte. Si, bene. Vado laburar. Escolte bene.
Equites! Preparate! En linea equites quite! Buon lavoro! Si, comprendo.
Oh, this is stable.
Kedmandes. Commandes.
We're playing so much more active today than yesterday, isn't that nice? Spoiler, it is.
Eccelimam de monte. Io ma...
Cursor obéissant. Perfecte. Ambulo.
Tuts audite. Cose sera. Eccelimam de monte. Vado laburar. Parats pour laburar.
Movenskito, come sono la cose? Si somes.
I forgot about my score. No, I didn't.
La bourse bolognese sul sito. Io ma sono la cose. Escolte bene.
Parate arquers. Parate in avant, arquer.
Asals in avant.
Tuts audite. Vido aussi. Qued labour. Eccelimam. Si, cavo. Dams de retournar.
En linea.
Ambula. Prepara arquer.
Parate equites.
Momentesi. Parate. Ambula. Bene.
Hehe.
Preparate arquer.
Equites sunt paratos. Si.
La bourse per si, comprendo.
En
Parate arquer.
Tuts audite. Condesqued.
Preparate arquers. In avant, arquer.
equites attention. Novos ordines. Ocest. Move equites.
Momentesi arquer. Si est. Parate intendo. Arco para. Arquer ambulant. Arquer.
Parate equites.
Parat bon.
Scolte ben.
Dams de retournar.
Dolmevir.
Si sommes.
Et cheliman de ma. Movamos, vale tous. Temps de retour.
Escolte.
Preparate arquer. Momentes. Oye.
En linea. Cavalamus equites. Sibel.
Parate arquer. In avant, arquer. Ambulant. Deusei.
Equites attendent in. Espero.
Audience. Obedio. Bene, bene.
Equites sunt paratos. Okay.
Parate arquer. Obedio. Momentes. Preparate arquer.
En linea. Asals in avant.
Colonne.
En linea.
Rat. Ambula.
Parate.
Preparate. Vade arquer.
Secund mon espero. Secund commandement. Point d'ordine. Si, comprendo. Parate. Parate equites.
Quedle. Quedla. Escolte.
Equites sunt paratos. Move equites.
Eccelimam.
Attention. Equites attendent.
Oye. Obedio. Vade.
En linea equites quitte.
Paraz. Bene, bene. Te où sei? Momentesi, archier. Parate, archier. Paraz.
Escolte bene. La speranza.
Si sommes. Ecce li mandement.
Tuts od ecce li mandement. Cose s-
Equites sunt par...
Momentesi, archier. Il a
Parate, secund mandement.
preparate, archier. Nintendo. Oye, bene, bene.
Equites attendentis.
Parate, archier.
Colonne, colonne,
In avant, archier. Nintendo.
Equites attendent bobe, equites.
Momentes, audience. In avant, parate. Parate. Momentes, audience. Ambula, Nagi, parate. Preparate, archier. Moment, archier. Archier. Come.
Chevalier.
Archier, archier, à la way. Archier, on the weapons. Archier.
Larson, chevalier.
Oyez les ordonnances.
advertens, lors
Sommes
Archier. Prenez vos armes. Sire.
à Larson, chevalier.
Besoigne à fait. Oyez tout de reste. Archers. Oyez comment.
Quoi cesse de temps d'avant.
Archers mesmos. Archier. Allons paiement. Archers. Archers.
GG.
Tous fides en bon ordre.
So games can be shorter, you just need to keep a lot of pressure and stuff. Of course, I had pretty sloppy and slow macro. At some point I forgot villagers production, but still we're on 3 TC. My H3 was a little bit late as well, but I think he was more messed up. Nice, GG. First time I kind of take control and be aggressive. Maybe when I took Delhi Sultanate, it's a bit hard to be that aggressive early because you don't get the Royal Knights. I could have done it with Abbasid, but the macro complicated it enough for me that I kept trying to figure out my buildings to such a degree that it was a bit harder to be aggressive. It's easier with French. Anything is quicker than 1 hour. That's true. I'm actually looking to kind of like get faction by faction. Yeah, to understand one a bit more, then understand the next a bit more. I think you learn something from trying to learn each one. So now I'm doing a bit more French. These games are more fun to watch. Well, like on Twitch and on YouTube, people were like, are games that long? And I'm like, no, it's just me. Like, yeah, games are a little bit longer, but they don't have to go to 45 minutes every time. Yeah, my H3 was a hella late. That's because I have very little experience constantly making units and still managing my economy correctly for H3. That's what I still need to get better at. Yes, Leonie Saint. Problem with Abbasid is that fresh food stuff feels so good, but starting with other wings and being aggressive is totally viable as well. Yeah, maybe it is. Did he level up the faster gather rate for food wood mining? Yeah, I think I did 2 for food, like carry capacity and food gathering, 1 mining picks, and 1 chop chop. But I don't get the fell a tree faster upgrade. Yeah, if this game lasted 1 hour, it's fine because I'm constantly in contact with my opponent. Look, I'm an experienced RTS player, but I make so many mistakes. Anyone does, and there's so much to learn. That's fine. I don't think you should frame it under you're making mistakes, because everyone's making mistakes compared to the meta and 10 years from now, right? But as an experienced RTS player and as an experienced RTS viewer, we know that if you sit back and do your own thing for 30 minutes, that can never be representative of a game. So yeah, there should be pressure from them on you, you on them, constant contact, micro during macro. The reason I focused on macro over microing little armies is because I wanted to understand the macro more. Do you think the market landmark for France has a place in safe trade routes, or is the cavalry school just passive? Let's look at it again together so that we can all understand the differences. Learn. French. School of Cavalry. School of Cavalry acts as a stable. All of your stables produce units 20% faster. Chamber of Commerce acts as a market. All traders and trade ships return 30% more resources to any market or dock. I don't think this has a place on a land map. The Chamber of Commerce is what you would take on an archipelago map, an island map. Good for maybe trade ships with docks, where you may not go for a cavalry drop on the mainland. But outside of water maps, I don't see how you could ever start with this. You gotta understand that the value of traders is mostly expressed in late game gold securing when gold nodes run out. Now you could say, what if you go for traders instead of gold mining camps and putting villagers there? While that is pretty cool because you're using a marketplace as a pseudo town center, in the sense that you're making traders instead of villagers and they're going to take care of your gold needs. But it seems to me that traders are far more easily disrupted than more centralized gold locations. Yeah, maybe this is for team play, is potentially more effective. But what's crazy about School of Cavalry is that all of your staples produce units faster. Not just this one. You could wall in the trade path, yeah, that's true. But then what are you doing not making fast cavalry? What's your build? Man-at-arms or spearman spam? Like, there's no doubt that melee infantry is the worst in the game. Cavalry are fast and can hit and run and scout and can escape. Archers can outrange and pick off and kill and kite. And siege can devastate buildings or archers. But man-at-arms and spearmen are defensive counter units. Man-at-arms are a wall upon which the water splashes and breaks, and spearmen are a wall upon which horsemen breaks. But besides like empowering battering ram rushes or killing buildings with their fire attack, they're never going to be your mass and win unit, I think. They have to be supported in some way, I think. Otherwise you get kited by horsemen or by archers. So I don't think you would skip something that buffs your cavalry production. Keep in mind that in order to spend the same amount on horses, on cavalry, you would need more stables than without the School of Cavalry. First of all, you need one more stable, since the school is a stable. And secondly, for every 5 stables that you have, or every 4 stables that you have, they function as every 5 stables you have, you get a free 6th stable, essentially. So with the School of Cavalry, you go 5 stable. If you don't have the School of Cavalry, you need 7 to have the same production. That's 300 lumber on 750. That's 30%. And later it's more like 20% because the School of Cavalry, it depends how many stables you have. Like when it comes to like 10 stables, then maybe it's like 20% and then eventually. But that's a lot of extra lumber cost, and in return you get a different way to make gold, but it costs gold. And I don't think you're going to spam early game traders. I don't think you can afford to make traders that much early game. If the Chamber of Commerce was an H3 landmark, maybe. But as an H2 landmark, I think you're just horsing around if you get the Chamber of Commerce. 300 wood for a long-term gold gain from trader. It doesn't make sense in a one-on-one.